Pump it up, pump it up.
Trae.
Come on, come on.
With Trae.
Pump it up, pump it up.
It's the day with Trae.
This is the day to gain inspiration, to make a positive change in the nation. We're inviting you to partake in conversation, to raise your vibration. It's the day that we will all celebrate all of our peeps that make this thing elevate. Watch the negative fade away, cause it's the day with Trae.
Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to the Day with Trae. I get to welcome you to a wonder-filled Wednesday here on the Day with Trae. Of course, I'm your host, Trae Holiday, and joining me today, we got Montana Houston in the building, the founder and CEO of rYOUminate, y'all. I am so excited that she's here to tell us more about this phenomenal organization that is really caring for young adults ages 18 to 30, and she's doing something specific for them, y'all. So I'm so excited that she's here to join me to tell us all about it today. But I'm also glad you're here, of course, and we get to start off by you sharing this show right now with anyone who you feel could benefit from the daily dose of dopeness we work to give you here on the Day with Trae. And if you can't watch our TV show, we always got you covered, because you can listen to us anywhere you find your favorite podcast. Just search Converge Media Network and the Day with Trae. You'll find us there. Well, before I get into it with Montana after the break, I gotta tell y'all that there's something so special about community love, y'all. Now, y'all have heard me talk about this before, but I gotta say that when we think of the power of community media, uplifting stories from our community, we recognize that there's so many great stories to be told. And while we may circle back and visit, familiar faces and spaces, we also know that there are new emerging places and people that help to really benefit our community and make it great. And one of the things that I have a purview of being a host here on the Day with Trae and being a part of the Converge Media family is that we get to actually spotlight these phenomenal stories. And so I'm always encouraging people to get out in community, because you never know what you might find. But also, if you're looking to figure out what is out there, Converge Media is a great place to stop and learn more. We get to have the power of time with our storytelling. So you're learning a lot about these phenomenal business owners, organizers, authors, restaurateurs. I mean, you're learning more about them than you would in like a multi-big media spotlight, right? Like, some of those spotlights are great because they feature folks on a, large platform, but the in-depth stories are really being garnered by community media outlets. And so shout out to all of them who are staying true and committed to their communities by sharing the stories that really matter. And it's special because when you're in this work, you realize that all of the stories matter. And that's the beauty of it, of being on the ground and from community. So when I talk about community love, I'm giving a huge shout out to everybody who's been pouring love over this way to me, to any of my Converge Media fam. We got some phenomenal talent here on our roster. Of course, Basa Gordon, T-Dub, Takia T-Dub Ward with Art of the Matter. We definitely have Deontay Damper in the building. And of course, I can't forget you, Chuck, with Circling Seattle Sports. We got phenomenal folks who are here dedicating themselves to uplifting these stories, no matter what they are or what sector they're in. We're covering a wide range of topics that we know truly matter to our community. So I'm grateful for all of the amazing talent, all of the amazing folks behind the scenes that you don't see, that are working so hard to pull these edits together to make these shows great for your entertainment and for your education. And so I'm just telling you from my purview, man, things are looking up this spring. I'm excited because the Day with Trae is a space to tell more and more stories, y'all. So again, if you know of somebody who needs their story told, don't fret, hit us up. You can hit me up on Instagram at Trae Holiday, or you can also email us at thedaywithtrae@whereweconverge.com. We are here for you and your stories. And honestly, there's no story that's too small, no story too big for us to be able to get in depth with you so that all of the audience members can learn more about the phenomenal works happening in our community. Well, after this short break, and up next, we got Montana Houston in the building. We're going to be learning all about rYOUminate, y'all, this phenomenal organization that is focusing on our young adults. You don't want to miss it. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Waitress, the hit Broadway musical Baked from the Heart, is coming to Fifth Avenue Theater. This little slice of heaven musical offers a special recipe for finding happiness in unexpected places. With original music by Grammy Award winner Sarah Bareilles, this musical is a dash of dreams and a pinch of heart baked to perfection. Don't miss this brand new production. Get a taste of this delicious musical March 11th through 30th. Order up at fifthavenue.org and satisfy your sweet tooth with the most delectable show of the season. Make plans now to get a little slice of this perfect musical today.
Getting the scholarship really changed the conversation. It went from, no, I can do school in my free time and make it work, to I could only focus on school and I could be the best I can be every single day. I can soak up everything. I can read before class and make sure I'm not just learning enough to pass a test. Like, I could really pour all my time into school. That's what having a Seattle College Foundation scholarship did for me.
Have you heard? Everyone living in Washington State can buy health insurance regardless of immigration status. Call 1-855-923-4633 to find out your option through Washington Health Plan Finder. The call is free, safe, and secure, and getting health insurance will not affect your immigration status. Give us a call today.
Welcome back, y'all, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Joining me right now is Montana. Hey.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yes, thanks for coming. Now, sounds like something truly special. So before we get into rYOUminate, I gotta ask you a bit about your background. I mean, what got you saying, I need to start something, I need to do something that doesn't exist right now? Tell us a little bit more about your background.
Yeah, so I'm born and raised in the CD, and I grew up really just feeling that there were a lot of unspoken rules to success and how people that in the communities I was growing up with have different outcomes, whether it's like having access to information that their family gave them or just like learning it over trial and error. Whether it was school or trying to get a job, I really struggled with that there were inequities and feeling it in real time. And so I ended up going out of state for college, which was a whole other journey of like applying and getting in. But as a first generation college student, I found that those things I was learning in like elementary school, that there are these unspoken rules, was really hard to avoid in college. And I started with my fall semester career fair and feeling like, okay, there's like a way that people move about that I don't know, whether it's they showed up in suit and tie and I'm in my like class outfit of just like t-shirt and jeans. There's like a certain way to shake a hand with firmness that, you know, shows you're serious or knows that you know what you're doing that I didn't know about. Having a resume, an elevator pitch ready. There were just things that I was like, how do I learn this if I don't know it? And at that time, this was only 2016, 2017, like there was the beauty of the internet, but there weren't enough resources for someone who wasn't in high school, but also wasn't like mid-year career to learn these things about how do I apply? How do I try and negotiate? How do I like really just give a professional brand? And whether it was that or learning how to do laundry symbols, like those things are crazy. There were just a lot of things that I felt that being a part of an emerging adult, that there weren't rules that I could like easily take a class on or that I could easily ask family and friends certain things. So it really started with my own struggle of not knowing how to do adulthood and finding that there's like a lot of jokes and memes online, but no one was actually like, how do we learn these things? Let's stop making jokes about it. Jokes are great, but how do we actually like fill in that knowledge gap? And so also realizing that as a person of color, I identify as a Black woman, there are different experiences that my white peers had to go through, and I had a wider learning gap. And that just tells a story of all people of color, that we have a different way that we walk about the world, access to different things that disproportionately affects us. So really wanted to make sure our community had the information we needed.
You know, there's something so special, honestly, about the personal story because I mean, I say it all the time, but really there's something that draws you in to doing something so specific and unique where it's like you were looking for the answer and couldn't find it. So then you said, I gotta create it.
Yes.
So tell us about that moment where you said, no, I really gotta form something that does this because I couldn't find it.
Yeah, I think it really came after being tired of failing so many times. It wasn't just like the college career fair. It was that, okay, I really don't know how to set up a meal plan for myself. Like, how do I learn these things? Then it was actually my first job that I think gave me not only the space, because I had like a little bit more free time than as a college student to start thinking about how can I build something, but also, to be honest, like bootstrapping the company myself, the money to be able to like get it off the ground. It came from just realizing I'm hitting a wall every time. As a professional, it was how do I negotiate my first pay raise? How do I like manage up to my manager? How do I like fight microaggressions in a professional way? And just like finding that there weren't enough resources, that I was like, I'm done. Like there's only so much I can take with not knowing things and not finding that resource. And just kind of having like enough community saying you can do it, that helped me lean into it.
Well, then at what point did you decide, I'm stepping fully in, I'm going to build rYOUminate, I'm gonna get this name together? Tell us all about those beginnings.
Yes, so in May 2024 is when I launched it, and through so much community, I wanted to take like a course because I studied pre-law in undergrad, and when I got my first job, I was only doing like law-related things. I didn't know anything about marketing, didn't know anything about finance, and I was like, I just want a little bit more comfort in starting this thing and having it do well, and trying to minimize the trial and error I was already going through in my personal life. And so I took a course through Business Impact Northwest, which is like a really amazing like entrepreneurial center. And from there, they had like an event called Celebrating Dreams that I launched at in 2024. And from there, it was like a huge driver for me to get it off the ground, because I signed up to table at that event, and I was like, even though I don't have a website yet, even though like all I had at that point was a business plan and my business license, I was like, this May 25th date, I have to show something. And that really, out of all the time I had spent thinking about ruminating, the irony is like I was ruminating about rYOUminate, I finally was able to take it off the ground. And to kind of go into that name a little bit, rYOUminate, we spell it rYOUminate, and the YOU is capitalized because you are the driver of your own story, your own life. You're the architect. We just want to help you have the information to design your life how you'd like, and think deeply about like, how does it look for you versus how did it look for our parents? Because they went through these things too, and our grandparents did, and everybody was struggling with it. But how does it show up for us, especially young folks today who have a different world than our parents did, facing different things? And so that's really where the name came from. And then from that event, it's just been like steamrolling ahead.
Wow. Well, I can tell you this. There's definitely something that's special about the age range you chose to work with. Tell us about this, because you're talking about 18 to 30-year-olds.
Yes.
And some would say all the way up to 30.
Right.
But you found that in your personal experience, there was a need here. Tell us a bit more about that choosing of that age range.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's where I've noticed there was the largest gap in terms of resources. Like at 18, give or take, maybe it's 17 for some folks, maybe it's a little later just based on our like life experiences. But as a society, 18 is when we're considered an adult. You know, that's when we're able to like enroll in the military. Like there are different things that happen at 18. And that's when we're also out of like most of our structures that we're used to in growing up. Like we have school up through 12th grade. We graduate at 18 for most folks. We're usually like kind of pushed out of the house around 18. Maybe for some folks it's going to college. But that structure that existed suddenly goes away for a lot of people. And there isn't that resource of like, okay, I have a schedule now. Or I know like, I don't know, in a few months I have a test that I have to take. And the world's kind of our oyster, which is great, but also intimidating when there's so many things we have to learn, like taxes, retirement, budgeting, having healthy relationships, just having an ability to take care of ourselves. And so around 18 to 30 is also statistically our second growth spurt, where we're like not only thinking about ourselves in the world, but now we have a work life that we have to try and flourish. We get more involved in our communities, and we just start thinking outside of ourselves. And that's also like up till 30, I think, when people have that development growth. So it was like the perfect amount of time that we don't have the structure, but also we're growing so much that that's the age group that I wanted to focus on.
I think it's phenomenal, honestly, Montana. When I was reading up on this, I thought, what clairvoyance it must have taken. And I had a feeling that it was probably from some personal experience,
yes.
right? Like, I just had a feeling, because oftentimes you don't even think of something like this until you're in the thick of it yourself, right?
Yes.
Like, there is something that is transformative in like, look, I didn't see the thing, I have to go create the thing. And now you get to help folks who are just like you try to figure it out. And it's interesting because I'm listening to you talk, and I have a 19-year-old, and he is experiencing the same things. It's like, okay, I gotta file taxes, I gotta figure out my budget, I gotta, figure out, okay, what kind of job, what type of career, where, all of these things. Like, if you don't go a certain route that gives you another formed structure, like you go into a trade or college or whatever, and you get this kind of structure a bit. There's still other things that are outliers that are not necessarily always talked about in those institutions. So I love that you're doing this. So tell us a little bit about what you're really offering to the folks who find rYOUminate and what you're doing. What kind of things do you actually offer them?
Yes, so it's reflective and research-based educational programming and stationery right now, because we're still in our first year. I'd love to expand it beyond that, but I am a member of my target market. I'm 27, and so like being by peers for peers to help us decide what's really top of mind for us and what are some things that we need to learn is something that's really important. And we take that input from our audience to help us decide what kind of content and programming should we design. So there was like a hot second when loud budgeting was a thing on TikTok, and that's like just being really open with what our financial constraints are and like not shying away from money talks, which I think is kind of discouraged in society. Like, we keep money close to our chest. At work, we don't always share what we're earning with our coworkers, and then that's how pay inequity increases. But really being able to turn that on its head and say, we are actually, like, these are my limits, friends. Can we respect this? That was something that was really popular during the pandemic, and we heard that that's still happening, and our audience told us, let's learn more about this and how can we set up healthy boundaries around money around this topic. And so we take that and we create a space for folks to think about, okay, here's the topic, but how does it relate to you? And how does this look like for you versus what our family may influence us to think or what society may tell us to do? And that's where the reflection comes in. But because we're all kind of figuring it out, we infuse research to help us know, this is how our generation is experiencing this. Right now, this isn't specific to financial literacy, but 87% of Gen Z, who are the 18 and 30-year-olds today, feel stressed about their future most of the time. So when we can contextualize, hey, a lot of us are struggling with this topic, it makes people feel less alone. And then we bring in community where folks share what works for them and just lift each other up to really create a whole experience from learning something new, which is already stressful. So we do a reflective and research-based educational workshops. And then we have stationery that if folks like to do pen to paper and journal about things or have to-do lists and planners, we support the information that we provide through that medium as well.
Wow. Okay, so if I'm a young person, I find rYOUminate. Does this look like group courses, in the evenings? I mean, because now you're talking about working class folk, right?
Right.
So they still have jobs, but they need the assistance.
Yes.
How do you customize the offering so that people can get what they need?
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, we do workshops in person and online, and we're partnering with orgs like the YMCA of Greater Seattle and Foster School of Business to meet folks where they are. So we understand that it's still new. Folks may not know rYOUminate, and so I'm really grateful for platforms like this to kind of get the word around. But we're trying to partner with schools and organizations that already have that community so that we can like come to them rather than them like having to find us, which can be a needle in a haystack on the internet, you know?
Seriously.
Yes. And so for now, it's workshops, and then we have digital content. We have social media that we share information just in case people don't see us in person, that they can still have the support that they need. And then on our website, there is a huge amount of different topics, like articles that folks can dig into to learn more when we're not in person again. I hope to expand into like courses and like on-demand content, maybe consulting for schools that want to develop these programs, because there is more interest around preparing students for what comes after. But at least for now, it's mostly workshops and online content.
Well, kudos to you. I gotta
Thank
say,
you.
Montana, this is quite the unique offering in a time where it's so needed, right? Like we need more guidance from people who look like us, who had that personal experience, who care deeply about the people you're serving. So, you know, my hat's off to you. This is phenomenal. What a great effort. Of course, if folks are trying to tap into these workshops and learn more, maybe there's some folks out there who say, oh, I could provide a workshop, or I can help, or, you know, let me just learn and figure out how what I have over here may be beneficial. Just look right there and let them know how they tap in with rYOUminate.
Yes, so you can find us at our website, www.rYOUminate.com, rYOUminate.com, and we would love to connect with anyone who'd like to partner with us. On our website is our publishing arm, so it's really centered toward underrepresented 18 to 30-year-olds to learn any kind of topic, but there is a like contact form that if you want to reach out, we will definitely be helpful, or we would really appreciate connecting with you. We would definitely want to feature local experts in different of the topics that we cover, so that it's really coming from the source and it's not just data that's driving the information that we're sharing. So we've done spotlights with the City of Seattle Police Accountability Office and been able to like tap into local organizations to make sure your stories are connecting with our audience as well. And so please contact us on our form. Please follow us on social media at rYOUminate on Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. We're really trying to grow our social media presence, so that would be really helpful as well.
Wow, you got it all in.
Thank you.
Good for you. Good for you. Thank you so
you.
much. Anytime you want to come back, give us updates. Let us know how things are
you.
progressing. We're here for you.
Please, I would love that. Thank you.
Y'all, this has been, I'm telling you, this week, I'm just every episode, I'm like, wow. Now, y'all have been hearing me say it throughout the week, but amazing work from Montana Houston with rYOUminate. Of course, I'll be wrapping all of this up right after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Getting the scholarship really changed the conversation. It went from, no, I can do school in my free time and make it work, to I could only focus on school and I could be the best I can be every single day. I can soak up everything. I can read before class and make sure I'm not just learning enough to pass a test. Like I could really pour all my time into school. That's what having a Seattle College Foundation Scholarship did for me.
Empowering the community one connection at a time. ConnectWA is your partner in finding the support you need. Download the app today and experience the difference that a connected community can make. Learn more at eec-wa.org/connectwa-app.
Hey, what up, everybody? Truth Talks is one of the hottest shows streaming, and we're expanding. You can catch all the tea live and unedited Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, and again at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. Dive into the truths you need to hear, from pop culture to politics and some of the biggest celebrity exclusives.
I wrote the song in the car.
Get out the way. That was my theme song.
Set your reminder to catch us live on Fox Soul or binge watch on YouTube/Fox Soul.
Ready to be intentional with your spending? Whether you're gifting it or using it for yourself, the Buy Black card allows you to shop at many different Black-owned businesses across the greater Seattle area, like Love a Latte, Dramer Ice Cream, Maltese Beauty Supply, Pizza by Ruffin, The Spa House by Queen Care, and so many more. You can see the full list of participating businesses when you sign up for your Buy Black card at intentionalist.com. And thanks to our friends at BECU, you'll save 20% when you load your card. Spend like it matters with the Buy Black card.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Huge shout out to my guest, Montana Houston, doing it up for the young folks, 18 to 30, with rYOUminate. Of course, if you find that you're in need of some of these amazing opportunities that she provides with the workshops, please tap into rYOUminate, y'all. And for me, I'm just inspired. Y'all know I'm always saying be inspired to be a part of the solution. Well, that's what Montana just showed us today. She's like, look, I was looking for it. I couldn't find it. I'm building it. And that right there is such a story that's recurring all the time, to share with us how there's always space for these amazing ideas that many of us keep within our heads, y'all. But if you are finding a void out there and you know that you have the passion to fill it, step into the space. Now is the time for us to be figuring out these solutions, crafting our own ideas in ways that not only benefit us and what we were looking for, but others as well. As I said earlier this week, chances are if you are going to find benefit in something, somebody else is too. So that gives you a full-on opportunity to step into the space and take it, y'all, just like Montana showed us. And it's really inspiring for me. I want y'all to be inspired because you too can be a part of the solution, as Montana has shown us today. Wow. What a great episode. So glad y'all stuck with us throughout this week. And of course, we got a couple more days left. So you know I'll be back with y'all tomorrow. Until then, at 11 a.m., y'all. Peace.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.